Hi, today you'll be learning how to goose call in the early season, but we're not going to blow our duck calls because season for duck hunting is in about a month, so we're not even going to bother that. We're just going to teach you the basics of goose calling 101. Alex is going to explain some of the basic calls for you here in early season.
Alright, so pretty much early season you don't want to get too fancy with it. You just want to maybe do some clucks. So a cluck just sounds like this. I'll show you the next call.
And usually before the clucks start, a honk will come out from a goose, hence the name honkers. Canada geese are nicknamed honkers because, you know, they honk. And a basic honk is longer than the cluck. The cluck is a shorter version of the honk, and what it does is it draws out that first murmur and then it draws a note out. That's a honk for you, and then a cluck is just a shorter version without the murmur. And usually geese don't really do this in the early season, especially when they're in the field. They're not gonna, you know, go really fast and stuff with it, but geese like to communicate between one another. So after one cluck, a different goose will do a different cluck in a reaction call.
So, and especially with geese, if one goose speeds up, one will go up. So it's like a rhythm. Me and old Klein will show you this here. So geese are working a
range tone.
Yep.
If
speed up.
If they start talking and they start getting higher, they all get high and they start talking. But when they're not talking at all, it's really just a bunch of low murmurs and short clucks and honks.
And when you're calling, say you have geese coming up or coming in, so you're calling hard. A lot of times hunters will make the mistake. They're cupped up and they're scared. Hunters will be like, alright, I'm gonna quit calling. Don't want to scare them off. Don't want to have a bad note. Well, geese aren't like that. Geese are territorial. So when geese see other geese landing, they'll talk and geese on the ground are letting the geese in the air know that it's their food, it's their territory, but they can come in. So if they're not saying anything, geese are probably wondering why.
They're thinking that there's no food there. I mean, if a geese isn't talking,
it's their territory,
yeah.
So they gotta claim it theirs,
so
and that's why they're talking.
If there's food there, and usually the gander, which is a male goose, he's the leader and he's a sentry. He'll start honking at them if they're coming in, because he wants to keep them out of there so that his group of family or whatever, they can feed and be left alone. So that kind of attracts the geese in the air to come because they know there's food.
So that's it today, day 1, and the next video will come up. Please subscribe.
Mailbox at the end of a dirt road. Pioneer sign on the side of the silo. Old dog on the grain truck.
It's going.
Hi. Today you will be learning about goose calling in the early season. Did I say loading? Calling. Video production. Calling 101. Hi. Today we will be talking about goose calling during early season. Klein, take it over.
Alright. Early season, the geese haven't been hunted a while. You know, they're just getting new to the fields. They're not really calling, they're not really talkative. Since it's new season and they're not feeding like too hard, they're not in the corn yet, they're still staying in the wheat and oats and barley, that they're not really talkative because they don't have their territory yet. So when they come off lakes and ponds and sloughs, they'll hit up those wheat fields And when other geese come in, they're just not going to be saying too much because they're just not sure about it yet. They haven't been hunted.
So, pretty much when I've been scouting already, I've heard is geese are flying over, they're all talking pretty loud. Recently they've been talking pretty loud and they've been flying. But in the fields, all I've heard is just cut that.
Stop it. Okay, listen to this.
Cajun. That's like when a duck is filled with like corn and it can't finish off. It's like that's what it's supposed to be like. Representing.